Sports Night Amplified with Andile on Metro FM. Monday through Friday, 6 to 7 p.m. Game over.
And welcome to it. Hey, we're back. It's Sports Night Amplified with Andile. The first one for 2024. Proud to be here. Happy to be here. Grateful to be here. Grateful that we have you looking forward to being here with us. We have you asking us every day, when are you coming back, and looking forward to it. There's nothing like being missed. There's nothing like being wanted and being needed. And we appreciate you for making it that you miss us, you need us, and you know, we're part of the fabric of your drive home, your listen with the boys, your discussions the day after. Thank you so much for joining us. It's a Monday. We're going to cover an array of things, obviously, because we've been away for so long. 3 weeks, isn't it? We've been away for so long that we might not necessarily cover everything, but some of the big topical things we'll definitely get into. Like, for instance, and I tweeted about this, and it seemed at the time that, you know, I might have been being a bit controversial, but the game between Sundowns and Polokwane City, the last game of the year for Sundowns and Polokwane City at Loftus, I was at the stadium, and there was an incident where Sundowns scored the goal, and the referee on the day was Akon Makalim.
Yes.
And she went and said it's a goal.
Yeah.
And then she went and consulted with her assistant, and then
It was overturned.
No, but it wasn't overturned then. From what I could see,
Yeah.
it wasn't overturned then. She went and consulted with the assistant, who hadn't flagged anything.
Yeah.
And then a couple of seconds after she's moved away now from the assistant as well, she called it and said, no, it's not a goal. In my view, from what I was looking at, and Rulani was berserk with that decision, it looked like there was somebody outside of the two officials
Who said
no, there was a foul. I'd love to know where that person saw it.
Yeah.
Because it obviously, to me, seems as if there's a screen which the broadcasters use. We use it. I know SuperSport use it as well. Somebody looked at that and said, Ish, here's the issue here, and told the referee. In which, if that's the case, surely that's not fair.
That's scandalous.
Surely then we have VAR without having VAR. So we'll touch on that.
And the issue is not that it a foul or not. It's that the ref and the assistant didn't see it.
I agree it was a foul.
Yeah, it
but
was a foul.
It was obviously not seen.
Yeah, it was
so
not
why
seen,
do we have VAR? It's got nothing to do with who was playing.
Yes.
It doesn't matter. So we'll get into that with the referee. He's here. He'll give us more details on that. Davek, it's a three wise men. Mazola Molefe, you've already heard him. Mfundo Vilagazi has been the talk of town for a very long time. We had an interview with Mfundo just over 2 years ago when he was a hot property at the Phillies games. He was signed to nobody at the time. We'll play you that interview. And then I'd love to hear from you. What are your thoughts now that you've seen Mfundo play? I don't want to say in a senior team, but in a senior capacity. What are your views on that? I know I spoke to Ramatlan Patleda, and he felt Jabulani, the Orlando Pirates player that started the game as well, the youngster there, he thinks that player is amazing, and he couldn't believe the talent that's there. But when you watch those players who were part of that all-star team, the younger players, what do you make of what they've had to do? I know there's Bafana Bafana to talk about as well, because you haven't had an opportunity to speak about your thoughts on that squad. But we'll do that on Wednesday. The Lyle Foster matter as well. We'll do that on Wednesday. So we'll save that for Wednesday, because there's no ways we're going to get through everything over this hour. It's 10 after the hour 6. Mazola, what do you have?
Yeah, a lot, Andile. Transfer window is open, obviously, so we'll touch a little bit on that. Obviously, I mean, there's a story that's been doing the rounds. We touched on it on Soccer Zone last week as well. The fact that Matthias Escaville, I don't know if I'm pronouncing the name right, but he's the Argentine midfielder who's obviously on the verge of joining Mamelodi Sundowns. But the tricky part here is that Sundowns have to make way by releasing one of the foreign players, because they can only register 5. And then obviously we talk Bafana bonus agreements. It's a done deal. Bafana have signed on the dot.
Do we have the numbers?
We do have the numbers.
Okay.
You want me to reveal them now?
No. You can save them for when you talk. So we have the numbers as to how much Bafana are going to be paid.
Correct. And
Okay.
then a whole lot more.
Let's take a quick break. When we come back, we start with the show. The numbers have not changed. It's 086-000-2160 for your calls. WhatsApps on 060-552-7303. I don't have the code. I've survived it. So don't worry. I'm okay.
The Three Wise Men, but not always so wise, on Sports Night Amplified with Andile on Metro FM.
The SABC and SABC Sport broke the story a couple of days ago that the SABC has acquired the rights to broadcast the Total Energies Africa Cup of Nations 2023 in Abidjan. Well, not in Abidjan, rather in the Ivory Coast. And they said they're going to be showing every single game. And I know there's a lot of people that, asked a lot of questions without understanding to say, hey, there's 3 games a day in the group stages. There's a 4 o'clock kickoff, there's a 7 o'clock kickoff, and there's a 10 o'clock kickoff as well. Does this mean we're going to be watching all of these games live on television? Is that what's going to be happening? But just to get a lot more detail on what this means, the SABC promising to show every single game, SABC Sport, every game of the AFCON this month up until the middle of next month, February. My thing is, if you watch what the SABC has done on the continent over the last year even, from Champions League to following up on national team games, they've delivered. And yes, there's still a lot of naysayers from the past of what SABC used to be. And SABC has been very honest about what they are and what they're not. As far as monetary things are concerned, what they can buy and what they cannot, what they can afford and what they cannot. But hosting tournaments such as these is not new to the SABC. It's something that the SABC has the capability of doing and have done so in the past before, the so-called dark ages or the dark years when we didn't have a lot of content. But if you watch what's happened, the progressiveness in this SABC sport department over the last 2 years, I think even you deserve to give SABC the benefit of a doubt. We're going to be speaking now to Kele Sototlanyo, who is head of sport here at the SABC, who joins us on the line. Kele, you're becoming a regular on the show. Maybe I must save a seat for you.
Actually, I thought I should have walked to the studio. Plus, I've dressed up today. I'm wearing high heels
Boss lady,
and a dress.
we want you here live. Why are you not in studio?
Kele,
Happy New Year to you.
Happy New Year, and we hope for the very best, of programming here, and to get more people to come back. Those that had deserted us here at the SABC with all the work that we're putting in now. But let's speak about the announcement that SABC Sport, together with the SABC, made over the last week. Every single game of the Africa Cup of Nations is going to be shown on the SABC. Please unpack that first.
Every single game of the 52 matches of the Africa Cup of Nations will be live on SABC Sport, SABC 1, SABC 3, SABC radio stations, as well as SABC Plus and SABCsport.com.
When we say live, is this live on television, or some games just going to be live to radio? I'm just getting clarity.
Let me tell you, every person that has spoken to me, they're like, we don't trust SABC. In the past, they make live.
Delayed live.
The next thing is delayed live. No, live. As and when it happens, we will be live. There are different kickoff times. There's a 1 in the afternoon, there's a 7 o'clock kickoff, and a 10 p.m. kickoff. We will be broadcasting those measures live.
But there is a point of clarity that we need to perhaps make sure that we get out there, Kele, and that's in and around where the games are going to be shown. If you're not finding it on SABC 1, if you're not finding it on SABC 3, there's a lot more portals that the SABC has invested in that we're urging people to now maybe perhaps start downloading and look for them, because it's not every game that's going to be live on those two particular platforms, although every game will be live.
Yes. So we do want to encourage our listeners and our viewers to download the SABC Plus app, because with that app you'll be able to watch whether it's SABC 1, 2 or 3, as well as SABC Sport channel, because it's available there on SABC Plus. So we're encouraging people to download that app. Not only do they need to download it for the purposes of watching SABC Sport channel, but also because of the fact that we do load shed in South Africa. So when you are load shedding, you will not be affected if you have SABC Plus app. So please go out there and download this app just for you to be able to access this content. And we're quite excited about that.
Oh, wow. Okay, we were excited for it. So it's every single game live on radio stations across the SABC platform in the language of your choice. And then, of course, in studio as well, on television, not only on SABC 1 and 3, but also if you download our apps, SABC Plus, SABC Sport, is where you can watch it as well. That's exciting. And as far as the studio is concerned, we do know we have our regular, analysts that come on. I've got two such guys in the studio with me at the moment. I was shooting with others for Soccer Zone a little bit earlier on. can we expect that there'll be perhaps more people that are going to be coming on? I mean, it's a game every day, 3 games a day.
Definitely, there are going to be new faces. We are finalizing those contracts and negotiations with the new faces that we're bringing on board. And yeah, as soon as that has been finalized, we're hoping that before the end of the week, we will announce who are new analysts, who are we beating our team with.
Appreciate you. Thank you so much for always coming on.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you as well.
It's the boss lady, Keletsa Toklanyo, SABC Sports Ahead, talking about all things, Africa Cup of Nations. If you do have questions, we'd like to think, Mazola, myself in particular, and perhaps Victor as well, we've spoken to our bosses and sat through enough presentations and knowledge to be able to answer most of your questions. So please, don't hesitate. Do shoot. It's 060-552-7303. That's the number you can call us on. And remember, the SABC has a lot more to say.
Catch all the 52 matches of AFCON 2023 live on SABC TV channels and SABC radio stations. SABC Sport is the exclusive official broadcaster of the Africa Cup of Nations Côte d'Ivoire 2023.
SABC Sport is proud to present all the 52 AFCON matches live from the 13th of January to the 11th of February 2024. It's going to be on SABC 1, SABC 3, on SABC Sport and on the DTT Channel 4 and SABC radio stations. Also available on SABC Plus and SABCsport.com. SABC Sport is the exclusive official broadcaster of the Africa Cup of Nations Côte d'Ivoire 2023, bringing you world-class football available to all for the love of the game.
Catch all the 52 matches of AFCON 2023 live on SABC TV channels and SABC radio stations. SABC Sport is the exclusive official broadcaster of the Africa Cup of Nations Côte d'Ivoire 2023.
20 after the hour 6 on the Mighty Metro FM. It's Sports That Amplified with Andile. We're back and are going to be live every single day as per normal. Regular programming has resumed here on Metro FM, so you can look forward to Faith when we leave as well with Metro FM Talk. She does come through at 7 o'clock and takes you all the way to 9 o'clock. As the three wise men, Victor Hlungwani is here with us, as well as Mazola Molefe. Victor has one important question to answer, and I can't wait to hear the answer for this one. In the match, Polokwane City versus Mamelodi Sundowns at the end of December, the last match of the season, Sundowns scored a goal. It was then disallowed, and Polokwane City kicked the ball off from a foul point of view. Was it a foul? Yes. It was definitely a foul. Themba Zwane, I can't remember, I think it was on Apollos, but Themba Zwane did foul him in that box.
Absolutely.
I could be mistaken as to who, but he did foul him in that box before Shalile scored the goal. So rightfully so, the goal shouldn't have been allowed. Except, how did the referee get to the point of the goal not being allowed as a foul? Because she was standing right there and saw nothing wrong with it.
Yeah.
The linesman, the assistant ref, saw nothing wrong with it. So then, how did they get to a point where it was disallowed? Victor's here, he'll answer us in just a few. But Mazola, you posted Mfundo Vilagazi over the last week after the Carling game.
Yeah.
I saw placards in the stands, people who say they've traveled to see Mfundo. And we know that this is true because we've seen people come out from all over the country when the DDC team of Kaizer Chiefs is playing because they want to see Mfundo.
Yeah.
I can't remember the last time a player that does not play at the highest level of football has had this much interest in him and also this much support. It took me back to a couple of years ago, I think two and a half years ago, when I had seen him play at the Philly games. And I had him on my show. But firstly, I spoke to his coach then. Have a listen to this.
But the one player that's stolen the heart, and as you can hear, the noise around the stadium where I am broadcasting at the moment, what's stolen the heart is 15, soon to turn 16-year-old Mfundo Vilagazi. Tell me about him.
Mfundo Vilagazi, what can I say? Football is talking a lot about football. Mfundo is one of the professionals. He's always on training on time. He's always willing to train. He's dreaming about football. In fact, he's no longer a soccer player, he's an athlete to me. That's why he gave us a magnificent performance there in Phillies games.
We have him on the line with us, I believe. Mfundo ukhona? Mfundo mncane ngomzimba man. Mfundo awusabi ukuthi uzolimala mara. Do you think wena Mfundo, because i-conversation ekhulunywa manje ukuthi umuntu olingana nawe onomzimba omncane njengawe angakwazi yini ukuthi adlale nama-professional? Wena ucabangani?
Angakwazi ukuthi adlale nama-professional. Ngoba egroundini adlala umzimba, kudlala inyawo zomuntu.
So ngokubona kwakho wena, you think you are ready ukuthi ungangena ku-DStv Premiership?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Well, that was Mfundo 2 years ago. He thought he was ready to play DSTV football. So, Mazola, you had a conversation with him just a couple of days ago.
I did. And watching him closely, for the first time, really, yes, you've seen him on TV playing Reserve League football, but the boy is ready, the confidence, even the manner in which he spoke to me after the interview. I think he did say that for his plans for 2024 is to make his senior debut for his club Kaizer Chiefs. And also, I must add, I think you spoke about the excitement of people wanting to see a player. Takes me back, maybe this might be a stretch, but it takes me back to Jabu Pule. And at the time, none of us had actually seen him. You'd have to have gone to the training grounds to see the youth.
I was fortunate enough to see him at the Benoni tournament.
Yeah, you'd have to be going to these Kasi tournaments or going to the training session in the development stages with Abu Farouk Khan and whatever to actually see him. But I remember I was at home, Vodacom Challenge, watching him come on. Probably played a few minutes, but you could already tell that he's a star. I think even Jose Ribeiro, even though he worked with him 2 sessions, he seems to believe him alongside Jabu Mukone as well. They've got
Jabu Mukone of Orlando Pirates, yeah?
Of Orlando Pirates.
Also in the DDC team.
Absolutely.
I mean, for me, I take it back to, do you remember Two for Joy? If you remember the team Two for Joy, I think they were from the Val, because they had Steve Likolea play in that team. And even as a young person, we look forward to seeing those oversized maroon kits, I think it was, that Two for Joy played with, because we wanted to see him.
China Mason.
Yeah, wanted to see Steve Likolea. So by the time players like that make it onto the big pitch, for those that know Dali Wonga, the school, they tell you about Dr. Kumalo.
Yeah.
To say he was just above everybody else that played at that school tournament. Well, here's an interview done by Mazola on Saturday, just after the game, speaking to Mfundo Vilakazi 2 years later after the interview with me.
Angizizwa ngijabulile ukuthi ngikwazile ukuyenza abantu proud njengoba ngijwayele ukubayenza ku-MDC ngikwazi ukubayenza proud kwi-higher level. Ami engikora ngivele ngangena egamini yobe ngijabule kakhulu mara into zami lezi into encane. Abantu bayasithemba nathi kumele sibayenze proud Saturday and sikwazile ukubayenza proud namhlanje. I hope yami for 2024 ukuthi ngiyenze senior debut.
Senior debut is what he's hoping for. There's a point where he says, now I'm a Jensen Wachelil. I'm like, hey, man, no work about how much I'm passing. He scored a free kick in that match there. And I said, when I saw that free kick, I said he was lucky. Because it looked like, no, I thought so. But if you watch Soccer Zone this evening, Ramahlem Pahlele sets the record straight about that free kick. I'm not going to give it away now. Okay. But I've changed my mind.
Because I thought Sage missed the bounce.
I thought so too. Yeah. Up until Ramahlem Pahlele, who was standing with him.
Yeah.
Because he was saying, Ntwana, he said to him, Ramahle said to him, Ntwana, do you need our help here? What do you need us to do? And he said, no, don't worry, I've got it. This is what I'm going to do. Oh. Please listen to it. This evening, 10 o'clock on Soccer Zone, Ramahlem Pahlele comes on and he tells us about that free kick that Mfundo Vilakazi scored. It changed my mind. Cellular on Twitter. I apologize. Because Cellular said it was a brilliant free kick, and I said, guys,
I also
it wasn't
like,
brilliant.
Sage missed the bounce.
But after I heard the explanation, I understood a lot better.
Okay.
So that's Mfundo Vilakazi. What did you think of him? Itumeleng Khune playing in that game as well, and all the other youngsters. Seeing Itumeleng Khune after, he hadn't trained. The last game he had played, I think, was in the derby. And then there's been issues with him and challenges at Kaizer Chiefs. Hasn't played, hasn't trained with the senior team. What did you make of Itumeleng Khune? There were some mishaps there perhaps as well. But it's 27 after the hour 6. Let's take a break. When we come back, Mazola Molefe gives us the stories, including Sundowns have signed a new player. He's foreign, and he could be the most expensive player ever signed in South Africa.
Can't stop, won't stop. Music with the coolest DJs. Metro FM. Where the true players at? It's where you want to be. Yeah. Sports Night Amplified with Andile on Metro FM.
Walter Steenbok says, if you're a head coach, you have to have a minimum CAF A license. You can have a Euro Pro or CAF A, one of the two. And your assistant must have a B license. This is for beginning of 24-25 by, I think they set the date for August. If you don't have that, you cannot sit on the bench in the league, in the DSTV Premiership. PM Konza, former Kaizer Chiefs, former Bafana captain.
Our players are going to improve. Our standard of football is going to improve. I'm happy Walter is doing a very good job.
Nadim?
Yeah, it's the league that aspired to be one of the best in Africa in a proper
professional league, I think is the step to the right direction, because we'll end up seeing players now playing rugby instead of like being drilled with proper football tactics. Yes, Andile Mtana.
6 to 7 p.m. From Metro FM, may the blessings be upon you. Happy New Year. From the country's hottest urban station, Happy New Year. Metro FM, it's where you want to be.
It's 28 after the hour 6, about to go 29 on the Mighty Metro FM. Give us a shout. There's a lot to talk about on 086 000 2160. Like I've said, it's impossible to cover everything that you've missed out on. I mean, I'd love to speak about Swallows. I really would. Because I told you so. I don't want to say, but I told you so. But we're not going to be able to do so today. Royal AM and Andile Mpisane, who's been trending for starting his first ever PSL game in the derby.
Oh, you know, we've missed a lot.
Yeah, we've missed all of those. But
this year, don't go away.
No. Goof, man. It's not December. Man. So we're not going to be able to cover all of it, but we'll cover as much as possible. Mazola,
yeah.
Are we about to see the most expensive signing in the DStv Premiership? Are we about to surpass Allende numbers?
No. We won't surpass Allende numbers. Allende numbers are 50 million in South African rands. Matthias Esquivel would be, 2 million USD in today's currency. That's 37.
Okay.
Yeah, so Allende remains the most expensive transfer from outside, or in any context really, from a South African point of view.
So in those two transfers, Sundowns are almost clocking 100 million in two transfers. Jeez.
Shucks. It's more than what they won for the AFL. They already spent in transfer figures.
What do we know about him?
What we know about him is obviously Coach Rulani Mokwena is looking for to add a little bit of spice and attacking a midfielder that can add goals as well. He's played in his native country. He's from Argentina, and we did Soccer Zone last week, just before, obviously on New Year's Day, and I was told at the time that he had just passed the medical out in his native country and was on his way. The tricky part now here, Andile, is that Sundowns can only register 5 foreign players.
Who do they have at the moment?
At the moment, they've got
Allende.
They've got Allende. They've got AB, the defender from Morocco. They've got Nasir,
the Ethiopian.
They've got Lucas Ribeiro Costa.
And from Stellenbosch now, they've just signed.
And they've got Junior Mendieta. Serino is a South African.
So Serino is a South African, yes. And what's his name again? Who's just come from Golden Arrows on loan?
Divine Lunga.
Divine Lunga is also South African.
Just been registered as a South African. So Shalulile's got permanent residency
South African as well.
South African as well. So those are the 5 players that are at the moment registered as foreign players.
Who do you lose out of those 5?
One must go. I'll have a story on sabcsport.com.
As to who's going?
As to who is likely to go, because this player...
I think I know.
This player has been offered to several top flight clubs.
No, I think it's an obvious one here. I think it's a rather obvious one. Who's going? But who do you think should go, and who do you think is going? Please do talk to us on social media. There, it's at Snawa. That's SNAWA.
Yeah. Let's move on to our first story with a sound clip, actually, where SAFA President Danny Jordan now confirms that, signed on the dotted line, Bafana players have agreed to what their incentive will be out at the Africa Cup of Nations. We know they're in Group E alongside Mali, alongside Tunisia, as well as neighboring SADC country Namibia. Their first game is on the 16th of January. Here's what Danny Jordan reveals about the agreement with the players.
I'm here to make sure that every box has been ticked, there is nothing outstanding, and that everything is in place. Them to focus on football, deliver on football, and give us the kind of performances that will make the nation to take a deep breath and say, we have a team. We have to get the team to focus. We have to clear everything. And if they win, they get 7 million. If they lose, they get nothing. We want the team to focus and to perform. And we don't want to waste time on discussing unnecessary stuff.
A lot of people might be asking questions when they hear the president say 7 million rands, 7 million US dollars, which is the prize money for the Africa Cup of Nations. So in our currency at the moment, it's 130 million that all 23 players will share amongst themselves. If they go all the way in the competition. But I struggle to believe that the players would have just agreed to.
Because he says if they win it, they share the 130 million. If not, they get nothing.
They get nothing.
That's no. Surely.
I don't think obviously perhaps not wanting to divulge the entire confidential agreement, because let me remind our listeners, Andile, that in 2019, the last time Bafana Bafana played at the Africa Cup of Nations in Egypt under coach Stuart Baxter, they reached the quarterfinals of that tournament in Cairo, and they shared 520,000 rands each. So I would struggle to believe that a few years later, this crop of 23 players are going to the AFCON and they've agreed an incentive.
So the negotiating players are players that are used to incentive.
Yes.
It's Themba Zwane,
it's
Percy Tau, and the captain Ronwen Williams.
Yes.
So they're used to incentives.
And Sianda Kulu, who's played abroad for many, many moons.
Also part of these four.
Exactly, So and they are smiling if you have a look at that video. There's no way the players, I think, are signing on the dotted line knowing that they have to absolutely win the AFCON.
If they do win the AFCON, every player is due how much?
5 million?
Just about 5 million.
Yeah.
Each. If they win the tournament, every player is going to get 5 million, depending on whether, the other players that are at home at the moment, the 4 players that have been chosen but sit at home as replacement players, if they go, because then it becomes 24, 25, 26, 27. But the 23 players, if they win it, just them, all of them walk away with over 5 million rands each.
Yeah, and just a reminder that CAF increased the prize money just towards the end of the previous weekend. That the winners, as we've said, what Bafana will share if they win, 130 million, runners up 74 million, semis 46 million, quarterfinals 24 million. That's a total of a 40% increase from the previous tournament that was won by Senegal when they beat Egypt out in Cameroon.
So when I spoke to Hugo Broos and he announced a squad, and we'll go into that on Wednesday because I think it's such a topical issue. We'll go into it in particular with the players that weren't selected. Lyle Foster, who's made international news now. We'll go into that on Wednesday because we're the only people to speak to Hugo Broos at the time. So we'll go into that and we'll play you those clips. But the big thing was Lebo Mutiba's unavailable because he's injured. Mm-hmm. The players that are coming from the USA, including Blom, Hlungwani, most importantly, unavailable because by the time the AFCON start, their league would have been almost 3 months without playing. So Hugo said he can't take those players, which therefore meant he didn't have a lot of firepower up front. And the questions was, why didn't you take a Mayo? Why didn't you take a Bradley Grobler? Why didn't you take Ikram Reyners, a Fakhri Lakay? And there was the thing of, I can't take players to a tournament that I've never used and I'm going to need them to be the ones that deliver for me. Yeah. But he's called up one of those.
He's called up Ikram Reyners. We because we are on the CAF Media channel, you are able to, it gives you everything. It gives you a list of all 24 nations, the 27-man squad as expected, as per CAF rules with regards to this tournament. They've extended it from 23 players to 27, and Iki has made it as one of the 27 alongside Ox, Tapelo Koki as well. I remember who's the other player, Elias Mokwana. So those are the 4 players that actually are on the 27, but they are not traveling with the national team. My understanding is that it's budget constraints or whatever the case may be, but other teams will most likely have all 27 players at the AFCON. So Ikram Reyners, currently the leading scorer at Stellies and high up the scoring charts in the DStv Premiership, gets his opportunity should there be a late injury. And of course, teams can call up these players some 24 hours before the first game should there be an injury or illness or whatever the case may be.
Okay, well, there you go. So Ikram Reyners has been called up. We should get a hold of him, see how he feels.
Yeah, the next story, Andile, is just going back to the All-Stars Carling Black Label team. We were talking about Mfundo Vilakazi and Jabu Mukone as well. Jose Ribeiro, we spoke to him after the match as well. He spoke about how impressed he was that a team that he's only coached for 2 sessions, a combined PSL team, the players absorbed information in that manner to be able to beat Stellies 2-1 to win the cup, which comes with a 2 million prize money.
It's again to congratulate the players for the level of commitment during this short time together. I would like to thank them for the way they welcomed me, the way that they were respecting the things that we proposed to stay together during this short period. I think we managed to understand each other very well.
And then sticking with the Carling
I have to firstly give Jose Ribeiro a big round of applause.
No, absolutely.
Because I've heard on good authority that the reason you saw the players celebrating, a lot of people said, but how you celebrate like this for this trophy? Because Jose Ribeiro set the tone. He set the tone in how he wanted them to behave in that. He coached them like he was coaching Orlando Pirates. He had plans for them. He had training sessions that were planned specifically for them. He went and did research on Stellenbosch that he imposed on the players as well.
Yeah.
So a big shout out and a big round of applause to the Orlando Pirates.
No, absolutely. Itumeleng Khune also, added to that as well to talk about how the coach presented them with a plan, even though they had 2 training sessions, and that's how they were able to win the game on the day. Sticking with Itumeleng Khune, we did mention earlier on, Andile, that he's a player that's had a troubled couple of months. He's currently suspended by his club Kaizer Chiefs for misconduct. We don't know when he would return. But Khune did say that he got a nostalgia feeling when the fans were chanting in his name, and obviously. I don't think it was a shock that Itumeleng Khune would get the Man of the Match award and 100K that comes with it.
I always refer my story to Lionel Messi having won 7 Ballon d'Ors, and he's still hungry for more. I always refer my story to Cristiano Ronaldo having won 5 Ballon d'Ors, and he's still hungry for more. He breaks records left, right and center. He breaks records every league he plays in, and you can never be enough as a footballer. I've won 4 goalkeeper of the season accolades in the country, but I still feel that I can win more of that. But obviously, age is not on my side anymore. But I feel with my experience, I can still achieve. And I will never stop believing that it's still possible.
I think the Itumeleng Khune story this year will be the biggest test of his career. I think what's going to happen with Itu, his contract is running out at Chiefs. It runs out in June, I think. In June it runs out.
And
Chiefs
the club
have already said
this is his last season.
This is his last season. This is from a player that obviously still wants to play.
Absolutely.
Itu and many didn't think they'd see Itumeleng Khune not wear black and gold while still playing. But I think it's a real opportunity or chance or reality that it might happen. I just wonder, is Itu a player, looking at his performance over the weekend, which I'm sure many might not judge by that, but over the last 2-3 years, is he a player that there's a DStv Premiership team that's looking for that sort of goalkeeper right now?
Yeah, that's the question that will remain unanswered until perhaps the 1st of July or prior to the 2024-25 season. We do know that the club has said, and that stance hasn't changed at the moment, that this is Itumeleng Khune's final season at Kaizer Chiefs. But let's see what happens. The final story is still with the team that lost to the Carling All Stars, Stellies. Fawaz Basadine, you would remember him as a player that made Coach Hugo Broos's 50-man squad, but unfortunately did not make the cut to be part of the 23 or 27. There's been some interest from Kaizer Chiefs. There's been some interest from Mamelodi Sundowns as well. But I did get confirmation from Ntate Rob Bernardi, who's the CEO out at Stellies, that the player has been contracted for the next 18 months. So his contract will run down end of June 2025. So it would depend what happens from there, but he's so far signed a long-term contract. But there will be more news with regards to the transfer window, as it only slams shut on the 31st of January. And of course, in between that, there's some AFCON action as well, Andile.
Oh, well, is that it for you?
That's it from me.
Well, it's a moment that many have been waiting for, so we're going to go straight to it. We're not going to take a break. We can, right? We can just go. So, yeah, he's been quiet the whole time. He is here. He's got his own moments that he'd like to speak about, but I want to take it back to the game, Sundowns versus Polokwane City at Loftus. I couldn't watch it on the television because I was there, so I couldn't tell what was going on. But from what I saw, which was Shalulile scores. Sundowns go to celebrate. Akona Makalima, who's the referee on the day, who's going to AFCON, by the way, she says, nope, that's a goal. But she can see that there's a protest that's going towards the assistant. She goes to the assistant. They seem to have a conversation. To me, it looked like the assistant didn't see or have any knowledge of what the rao was about, right? The frustration of the Polokwane City players. They part ways, and then a couple of seconds later, Akona seems to confirm that, okay, there was a foul, and gives a foul instead of the goal. So my question is, well, you know the whole story. What happened?
Yeah, and compliments of the new year.
Hey!
To all our viewers and you and Lipara, Mapara. Let me start by saying my tournament went very well, and I've paid Akikoloti Mut. That tournament, 60,000. Zama Sports Challenge, Egian.
There we go.
Yeah. Let's go now to our PSL game. Sundowns Polokwane City. Yes, 71 minutes. We saw a goal scored by Sundowns. The law says a goal is scored when the whole of the ball crosses over the goal line between the two upright posts beneath or under the crossbar, provided an offense has not been committed by the team scoring the goal. Now, if we look at the situation on the match, Sundowns scored a goal, but Zwane committed an offense. He kicked the captain of Polokwane City. Kicking an opponent, it's a foul. It's an offense. So now the referee did not see it in the first place. She went to consult with the assistant who was not sure about the contact. The assistant was Moretsi from Bloemfontein, who was not sure. But then Law 6, which talks about other match officials, it says they shall assist the referee, or they will assist the referee in controlling the match in accordance with the laws of the game, but the final decision will always be taken by the referee. So now in this case, the fourth official, who happens to be Mureki on the side, he gave the information that from where he's standing, he saw a possible foul. So that's when Akona now changed the decision.
So he's telling Akona this through the earpieces,
through
right?
the earpiece.
Okay.
So the information came from the fourth official. Now
Victor.
there's a notion that the fourth official will go to the screen. He's not allowed.
Victor.
Yes.
The fourth official sitting at the halfway mark.
Yes.
Saw a foul.
Yes.
Akona, who was nothing, maybe 3 meters from it.
Yeah.
The assistant, who was barely 8 meters from it. He could see it from there.
But he didn't see it. He saw a possible, but he was not sure about the contact.
So he didn't see it either?
No, he saw something, but he was not sure about the contact.
So you rule out a goal based on you're not sure. Victor, is it possible? Let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
Is it possible that whether they're allowed to or not is something else?
Yes.
Is it possible? I just want to know, is it possible that the fourth official can watch a screen? Is it possible to see it?
It's not possible.
Where's the screen?
It's somewhere with Mazola at the back.
No, it's right behind him.
So he
it's
can't
right
go.
behind him.
No, it's
he
right
can't
behind
go
him.
to
It's
the
right behind him. Let's be honest. It's right behind him.
The law does not allow
No, I'm not asking about the law allowing him.
Is
I'm
it
asking,
possible that
is
he
it
can
possible
see it?
that he
The
can
answer
see it?
is yes.
No. Because it's behind. The screen can't
So
be
if he
in
turns
front.
around, can he see it?
The law does not allow him.
I'm not asking if the law allows. If he turns around, can he see it?
Through my 23 years career in the
You were a referee.
I was fourth official as well. I have never seen a screen next to us here. It's always behind.
No, but we sit with the screens. It's always behind
It's
you.
behind the fourth official.
Hence, I'm asking you, if you turn around, can you see it?
There's bench.
You
left
sit
and
between
right.
the two.
So you sit between the two. Where will the screen sit?
The screen sits behind
the fourth official, always.
Okay, so if you turn around, you can see it.
You are saying you are saying he would have to physically stand up to
and go there. That's when he can see. But
and you're saying he didn't?
He didn't. The law does not allow him.
Wow, you're telling me what the law allows.
Yeah, he did not
so
go
then
to the screen.
So what was that decision based on?
So he says, from the fourth official said, no, I saw a possible foul. I saw a foul. So from the fourth official point of view, remember he's sitting with the benches. What the benches sees is what he sees. So he saw a foul. So he advised the referees.
The Polokwane City bench did not stand up to say there's a foul. So they didn't see it.
Yeah.
The fourth official saw it. He alerted the referee. And then the referee,
is sticking to his
it was up to the referee whether to take it or not. So the referee took the advice from the fourth official.
The man is sticking to his guns.
Yeah, I know. What else do you have for us? Itumele Nkune.
Yeah, Itumele Nkune.
Goal scored, I think, to make it 1-1 at the time.
Yeah.
You know, where he goes down and the ball is kicked, he's got like a finger to it.
Yes.
Or he's got like fingers to it, but he doesn't have full control of it, so to speak.
Yeah. Let's go to law. First and foremost, a goal was correctly disallowed because there were some commentators who says it was a clear goal. Let's go to law so that we can clarify it was not a clear goal. Firstly, Maholo Isano was in an offside position when De Jong headed the ball. So the ball was disallowed for offside. That is the first infringement.
Oh, so by the time the ball is kicked and it goes in, offside was already called.
Offside was already called.
Oh, okay.
So when we go to the next one, where we clarify whether Kuna had the ball or not, we'll clarify here to say the goalkeeper is in control of the ball when he touches it with his hands or arm. Did Kuna touches the ball with his hands or arm? The answer is yes. At the moment Maholo Siani kicked the ball, Kuna has had his arm on the ball. So therefore, correct decision by the referee to have overruled that goal for firstly for offside and for a foul. So 2 infringement occurred in that match, which the referee took a correct decision.
It's first day in, and already we're not agreeing on a lot of things. What do you think? There's a lot to talk about. We'll take it all, even if it's something that happened. You saw it, yeah?
Yeah, I mean, what he's saying does not make sense to me at all.
But the correct decision was taken through an advice. If the fourth official says foul,
the fourth official is over there.
Let's take calls. Hold on. Let's take calls.